So, Hunter C-15 has taken Sylvie back to the apocalypse. And Sylvie's like, oh, come on, that's good. We're going to fight it out like ladies.
Yeah.
And it was strange. I'm like, what? They finna fight it out? Okay. Hello.
Hello, everybody. How you all doing?
And if this is your first time joining us, my name is Cathy.
My name's Tom.
And we're the Marvelous Donahues.
Marvel and Marvel heads.
Marvel heads. I'll never get used to that. And this channel is about everything Marvel.
That's right. We call you Marvel heads because you guys are kind enough to join us. And you're part of our family. And we're going to talk about, again, like we say, all things Marvel.
Yeah.
At least all things Marvel TV show.
Marvel TV shows.
Maybe we'll talk about the movies. Maybe talk about Black Widow sometime. But
yeah. We haven't seen it yet.
We haven't seen it yet, so don't tell us.
So this episode is about reviewing and having a conversation about episode 4 of the Marvel TV series on Disney Plus, Loki. Yes. And today we want to thank our sponsors.
Sponsors? Sponsors?
No, I'm just practicing.
We're getting ready. If you guys want to be sponsor us, please let us know.
Yes. But, I was just getting ready for sponsors. You know, we got to,
practice.
Yeah, walk in the light.
Listen, you did a great job.
Thanks. This show is brought to you by us.
That's right. And actually, it's brought by you too, because you're here. So
as long as you keep joining us. So we have to do like and subscribe and share our videos with your friends and family.
That's right.
And those of you who are tuning in and they're friends of ours, thank you for doing it. Okay. And comment. Make sure you comment.
Right.
Join the family.
We may ask some thought-provoking questions today, so
yes,
let's know what you think.
A lot. So let's dive in.
That's right. Let's go.
So we find our two characters, Loki and Sylvie. They're on the planet that's about to explode.
Lamentis 1.
Lamentis 1. Oh my gosh, you guys. The scene, even though it's not real, that planet and just the asteroids falling down around them.
That's not my vacation spot. I'm just going to say it right now.
And, I liked it though.
Yeah.
And then they grab hands the way we do. And they were like...
having a Nexus moment.
This is the
PG-13,
end.
just to remind everybody.
Yeah. This is the end.
That's right. That's
or
right.
What we think is the end.
Or is it the beginning?
Yeah. So Loki and she have some real conversation. He actually, the first thing he does when he sits down, he says, "I'm sorry," and I'm like,
"Sorry?
What?
You're saying
Loki
sorry?
is
Yeah.
Loki.
Yeah.
Loki saying that he's sorry.
Yeah.
And I thought that was touching.
Yeah.
And then we learned some more about Sylvie and where she comes from, which is Asgard. We know, but we forget.
Yeah.
And she talks about, she believes that she became a variant because she was the only female Loki.
Right.
That she was born out of time.
Yeah.
And her very existence would cause chaos.
I thought about that. And if you remember if you've watched some of our other episodes, we talk about, is the TVA part of the problem? Are they part of the solution?
You said that.
And it's like, are we variants? Are we in our lives? But I was thinking that why is she a variant? Because she's a woman.
Yeah. She was out of the norm, It was out of the norm. Remember we talked about in our last episode, we were talking about all the pictures of the other Lokis that they show. They were all men.
Yeah, or beasts.
Right. Yeah, so she was born the only female variant.
Right.
So they're sitting there, they're waiting to die, and they're having this emotional moment. And because they were having this emotional moment, it turned into a Lexus moment.
Yeah.
Or Nexus. I'm thinking Lexus.
Nexus. Maybe they had a Lexus. But anyway,
a
Nexus moment was right.
And it saved their lives. The doors open up and they're
grabbed.
captured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about this, and if you follow this, we always think about what this particular episode, the meaning behind it, or what the kind of the buzzword, I guess you want to call it, is. And, I thought about it and I said, this is a transitional episode.
Mm-hmm.
This is an episode where people start to learn like who they are, who they were,
Mm-hmm.
and different feelings or emotions are conveyed to one another.
Yeah.
That had never been like expressed.
Yeah. Well, I think that their emotions were being suppressed
Yes.
by the TVA,
Yes.
but also the situation they were living in.
Yeah.
Think about this. They had been there for hundreds of years.
Yes.
And it seems like once she enchanted them,
Yes.
it brought up their past memories. So much so that, what was it, C20?
C20. Yeah.
Or C21 or
C20.
okay.
Yeah, C20. Yeah.
C20, they end up killing her because she remember. She said, I was there, I knew about it, and the TVA, then she was a threat. And you know what I learned doing that thing is called the pruning, where
that's the dematerializing, where they stick you with that little stick. And
and they pruned her because she got wise to what was really going on.
Right. That's right.
And when they got back, Owen Wilson, and this is a part I thought was kind of pivotal.
Yep.
He told Loki, man, you're a bad friend.
Bad friend. And we were like, I don't know what you guys, when you watched it, but she and I looked at each other and I said, bad friend? I didn't know he thought of him as a friend.
Yeah. But think about this, Tom, that remember when Sylvie said that when she enchants people, in order to do that, she has to go back and get a memory from hundreds of years.
Yeah. Or may have to, right?
Right.
Because it's buried so deep in the subconscious.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, she said hundreds of years. So remember, crazy. I was talking about how Loki was comfortable and he was wearing a shirt and tie.
I know.
That he worked for them.
Yeah.
And which he said, no, I'm a consultant. But I feel like that time space continuum, I'm gonna use that again, has passed, and he and Owen are actually friends because he probably been there a long time.
Because that started to come out in this episode.
Yeah,
there was like a trust between them. There started to be, and remember the scene where he's talking to Owen Wilson and he says, the biggest, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but the biggest mistake, biggest thing about, it's so sad is that, the lies you tell to yourself.
Yeah, that's what Loki told Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
And there was a friendship between Owen Wilson and the lady that's in charge. What's that boss lady's name?
I'm gonna be ignorant for a second. I forgot.
Oh,
I just call her supervisor.
Oh, okay. I'll call her boss lady.
Boss lady.
And she talked about it when they were together. Yeah. But Owen Wilson, after Loki told him the TVA is lying to you, he knew something. He felt something in his gut.
Yeah.
And they all did. So did Hunter.
Right. Now what I thought about too, I thought about the fact that Sylvie is among them.
Right.
That maybe there is something that kind of pervaded over the TVA. There was a different spirit there than had been before, and maybe that's why some of this stuff was starting to maybe make him think about stuff.
Well, I think it was just, I do. I think that too. Mm-hmm. But I also think that people start remembering things. Yes. The enchantment was that Sylvie had put on crucial people.
Right.
Made them believe differently.
Right. Exactly.
That was one of those things. That's what I was thinking about.
That's what I agree.
So let's just go back to Loki for a minute and him being caught in that time loop.
Give me the time cell.
Yes.
I'll be honest with you. I was telling her when we were watching the thing the other day, I was like going, time cell. It reminds me of like another movie analogy, but I thought about like Groundhog Day. like remember Bill Murray in the 80s when he was like having to learn how to live and love and
Yes.
be a good person, and then finally he got to bust out of it.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
And I guess I kind of felt like that with Loki. He learned how to deal with some situations in that.
Yeah, because that girl kind of cut him deep. He was like, well, listen,
you're alone. You're always going to be alone.
You're always going to be alone. Fast forward to his conversation with Owen Wilson, and he's like, you guys, what did he say? Y'all smooching over each other?
Swooning.
Swooning.
You guys are swooning. And that was the thing I thought was funny. They were swooning, and you fell for yourself.
Yes.
You're like...
that was weird.
Yeah.
Because he was like...
But they're Lokis.
Yeah, and they're different, but the same.
Yeah.
The strengths and the qualities. And Loki felt like, well, this is somebody like me, but different.
Yeah.
I can be myself because this is myself. So that's weird, but he's kind of right. When Owen Wilson told Loki that SYFY was dead and had been pruned,
he was like, really? What?
Yeah,
like,
what?
I
know. And he couldn't hold back the little bitty emotions that he had.
And that's when, isn't that when Owen Wilson goes, oh, you like her?
And, I felt like grammar school.
Yeah, I know. It's like, oh, you're sweet on him or her or whatever.
Loki and SYFY sitting in the tree.
Actually, Lamentis. But
oh, okay.
That's kind of close.
But it was still, like you said, it was relationships. All these different.
And it's a transitional thing because now people are starting to see more of who they were, and it's like, wait a minute, it's like, who am I now? Yeah,
and everything's changing, and that's when the boss lady steps in, and she doesn't want it to change. So she tries to kill him as usual. There's usually some killing and stuff going on. But she doesn't want things to change.
I remember when Owen Wilson switches that 10-pack with her.
He
takes her so he could see what happened to C20. And it's like, then he realized that this is not what it appears to be.
It was a lie. And that's what Loki had to tell him. Yeah. And he realized that he was his friend. And he was like, hey,
there was
listen.
Trust. There was like, there was a period where they were like, hey, we got to trust each other. Something was in that scene where it's like, okay, hey, got to trust each other.
We do. He does.
We do.
Yeah,
and he does.
He does.
But that was, to me, I think this was too an emotional episode because it was like you really saw that, how time passes and how you can change for the better. Yeah. Well, and that's one thing Owen Wilson told him. He stepped in that time trap or whatever it was, time cell. And he was like, listen, nobody's ever told you can be good, Yeah. And then when he stepped out, there was the boss lady. Yeah. And she prunes Owen Wilson. And Loki was like, what? Yeah. This is, and think about this. Think about this. Yeah. Before you speak, think about this. I'm still in shock that he got pruned. I know. That may have been Loki's first and only friend. Yeah, that's true. Seriously. That's true. His first, all the movies we've seen him in, the people that hang around him are enchanted. They don't really like him. No. Here's a guy that says, you're a terrible friend. And he's like, what? No. You think I'm a friend? And then here he says, then in the time cell, he goes, hey, guess what? If nobody's told you lately, you can be good. You can have love. You can, and then guess what? You don't have to be alone. Like the girl said to him in the time cell, you don't have to be alone. You're always going to be alone. You don't have to be alone. Right. And he steps out of that. And his first and only friend that believes in him is killed. So then what? What's next? Seriously, what is next? Yeah. And we know what's next because we watched the whole thing. If you haven't, go back and watch it, but not now. Right. So we know what's next. So while all that's going on, Sylvie's back in her
what do you call the apocalypse thing with H?
With H15.
H15, right? So so H15.
Oh, B15. I'm sorry.
B15. Oh no, her name is Hunter.
Hunter.
Okay, sorry you guys, but we're just trying to get this right. So she goes with Hunter back into the apocalypse or whatever's happening. It's Sylvie's like, oh yeah, you want to fight up in here?
I thought they were gonna fight. I really did.
She's like, it's all good. Come on, we finna fight. And the girl's like, no, we not finna fight. Look, I'm trying to figure out what is going on here.
Yeah.
So she tells her the truth. The TVA didn't create them, and you had this wonderful life back on Earth. So she enchants her so she can see it. And, Hunter breaks down, and it rains there, but she's crying. She was like, I look so happy.
Yeah.
And all these people are realizing that their lives have been stolen from them.
Mm-hmm.
Owen Wilson realized that even though he wasn't enchanted, he was thinking to himself, maybe I liked ski-doos. Maybe that's why I had the magazine.
Right.
Because that used to be my life. And without being enchanted, I remember just the sliver of it.
Mm-hmm.
They find out all these things, and it's ready. You ready for the showdown now?
That's why I said that this is a transitional episode, because I was like, they just really learned so much about the world.
Yeah, the world in which they came
world
back.
They live.
Yeah,
and maybe the world that they thought they knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So fast forward to the end, because we're running out of time, people.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
Okay, so the end.
So to set it up, so they're on the elevator. I thought this was interesting. They're on the elevator, and then Sylvie's like, "Do you remember me?" Oh yes, and she says, kind of like, why'd you do this, or what was my crime, or what was going on? And she says, what does it matter? The supervisor lady's like, what does it matter?
Right.
And it just showed her callousness, like
she didn't really
indifference.
Care. She didn't care. Mm-hmm. It was all about, as we know, she trying to keep power because she knows that all of it's a lie because she's been busted. But they get inside.
And where are they going? Dun, dun, dun. They're going to see the Timekeepers. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Remember that?
And, oh my gosh, people, the Timekeepers are robots.
They're androids. Going back to, I hate to use it, the analogy, they're going back to an old Star Trek term.
Yes, it does. It's like that one episode of Star Trek, the old one, where they break into this thing.
I didn't know we were talking about that today.
I know. Just quickly, because we're running out of time here. The old one, where they go into this planet, and this planet is actually being ruled by a computer, and everybody thought, well, it's the great God and this and that, and it wasn't. It was just a computer.
It was a hologram, and the guy, it had been programmed by like past generations.
To do all these things, and it wasn't real.
And you know what I thought of when so the scene comes in and they're all elevated on the wall. I thought that was kind of really cool. But I thought about it and I said, well, where did the intelligence come from? Is there intelligence there? Is it somewhere else? Who are these Timekeepers?
Yeah. But now we know it's a laptop somewhere.
I want to see the laptop. I don't know about anybody else out there, but I want to see the laptop.
Oh gosh, the only criticism I have about this, and I told Tom, no, I thought that end fight scene was a little too choreographed.
Yeah, you said that when we watched it.
Yeah, I was like, this is not standing up. It should be. It just seemed like ha.
Yeah. It was like A plus B plus C plus D.
And I felt like that it wasn't like that train sequence. The train sequence, they was kicking butt, but this one seemed a little more choreographed.
And we were saying, did they get another director? Maybe a guy got sick one day when they were shooting it and they came in.
Or maybe somebody was injured and they was trying to make sure, maybe Loki or Sylvie was injured and they were trying to make sure they didn't further injure themselves before the series was over. But that was just a little side note, you guys. But they're robots and
they look dead for now.
Yeah, they do. But speaking of dead, Loki he got pruned.
I call it zapped, but it is pruned. And we're not going to tell you the ending,
Yeah.
just in case you haven't seen
Yeah.
it. But they do a Marvel-esque
Yes.
movie
Yes.
end credit scene.
End credit scene. So if you cut it off before you watched all the way to an end,
After you heard the Brenda Lee 1961 music,
yeah,
60 music,
okay.
If you've turned it off at that point, you're missing out.
You missed something, and that's where we're gonna leave it, people.
That's right.
Hey, we know this episode was a little long, but it was a lot to unpack.
We hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, and you can come on back here. I'll be back next week.
Yes,
and we'll be able to talk more things Marvel. We'll be in episode 5.
Episode 5, we're getting to the end, people, and we are excited. We're excited. So, if you don't already know, my name's Cathy.
My name's Tom.
And we'll see you next time.
Marvel heads.
Bye-bye.